Hello everyone, welcome to Developers Daily. We are honored to announce that today we have very special guest with us, Dr. Munish Sabharwal, who is the Dean of Galgotia University, expert coach in AI ML in Upgrad, and also professor in SamarKand State University. He possesses a flair for teaching with a proven ability to apply the best practice and innovation-oriented teaching, learning practices in engineering education, as well as collaborative approach for research and decentralized and supportive style to academic administration. Above all, he is a very good mentor and charismatic leader. He holds PhD in CS and management and has more than 22 years of experience in teaching, research, education management, as well as software development. He did his MBA from Symbiosis Institute of Management Studies and also M.Tech in Computer Science from Institute of Advanced Studies in Education and BA Honors Computer Science from Nagpur University. Some of his current research interests are e-banking, biometrics, data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. In 2016, he was selected as ambassador of Kyrgyzstan to observe and analyze the faculties, syllabus, and teaching techniques of faculty of IT and mathematics. While in 2013, he was awarded a certificate of appreciation for organizing the All India Essay Writing event. In 2016, he was given the certificate of appreciation presented by DKOP Labs in recognition of exemplary contribution towards excellence in education. Recently in 2018, he was bestowed as the Best Senior Researcher Award Male above 40 years by GECL Awards. Dr. Sabharwal has written more than 35 published research papers. His recent project was Effect of Frequency on Microdoppler Signatures of Helicopter. We welcome you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for an elaborate introduction.
Thank you, sir. Sir, the first question to you is, where do you see tech giant companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft going towards AI in the next decades?
I think in the next decade or so, these tech giants will work both on the consumer side as well as on the business side of things. For example, on the consumer side, we already see that they have been working on, say, these voice assistants. For example, the Alexa, the Siri, and Google Assistants of the world. And they are embedding these voice assistants in almost all electronic gadgets, right from the Echo Dot speakers from Amazon, the smart televisions. Now, I recently saw a smart TV projector now. So
Yes, sir.
they are adding things into everything. So that is the consumer side of things. And more innovative products will soon, start coming in. Very recently, I bought a Wipro bulb from, uh, Amazon. So once you put that Wipro bulb, you can use the Alexa to switch on the bulb, switch it off, change its colors and so on and so forth. So that is the consumer side of things. And on the business side of things, they will provide services across domains. And most of it is going to be, cross domains and interdisciplinary kind of. And if you read the address of Bill Gates for 2020 that he gave to MIT University, MIT's opening letter, that is a annual affair. So that was written by Bill Gates, and he said that the biggest innovation he is looking after is using AI as a tool to improvise healthcare, to give healthcare services. And another area that I think they are going to look at is, mobility, because
Yes,
I
sir.
think this Apple is using this Apple car, it's investing heavily into it. So autonomous driving is a big thing, big thing. And another one that, in my opinion, would be is battery optimization, because if we are trying to shift everything to chargeable batteries, right from cars and all the gadgets that we have, they are all operated batteries. And if that battery can last you longer and longer, then I think, and that would be great. And one more thing, I mean, especially Apple is doing, and Apple has started that race, is it builds its hardware and software, but it has started building its own chips, and that
Yes,
chip
sir.
has a AI enabled neural engine. So if and recently I was reading that now Microsoft is also starting to build its own chip, and Nvidia um, wants to build its own hardware because it does build chips. So because when a company which is developing its own software, especially Microsoft and Apple have their own operating system, and if they develop their own AI enabled chip, the the processing power will go leaps and bounds above, because uh, they know what they want from the hardware, and when they are the ones who are going to go with the hardware, and they will put neural engines into it, um, AI SoCs into it. So I think that is where the next 10 years are going to go, and they will be very interdisciplinary in nature.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, as you have mentioned,
So you named three companies, that, like you said, Google and Microsoft and Apple. I think there are few more that are doing a great job. Like, for example, Qualcomm is doing excellent in developing chips, and the Kiran chipsets that Qualcomm has developed. I think most of those Kiran chipsets have AI enabled into them, and same is the case with Nvidia. Nvidia is also developing great graphics chips and servers, and they are enabling lot of AI into it. So that is, something that is going to happen in the next decade or so.
Yes, sir.
yes, sir. Sir, as you have mentioned about Apple chips, we have published an article about that development also in our website. Sir, as you have written many research paper, so what motivated you towards research, and what advice would you have for others who want to set off in similar direction?
Frankly speaking, what motivated me to research was, I mean, one, that because I was in the education field, so I had to get a PhD degree. My first thing was that I had to get a PhD degree, but my problem was that I was not, uh, I never wanted to have just a degree for the namesake of it. So I tell you a small incident. Once I happened to go to Jaipur, and I forgot to take my wallet along, and I had to face a very tough time there, because I had to spend 3 4 days, and I had no money, and I couldn't withdraw any kind of money. It was This is something 12 years ago, and because I had no wallet, so I didn't have the credit and debit card. Uh, so I had to call people somehow, and somehow, through friends and family, common relations, I arranged some cash, and then, so while I was coming back, I thought that if I could make something like that, cash transaction, any kind of financial transactions can be done, uh, even if I don't have anything. So I decided to do a in which operating a ATM, or operating any kind of mobile, uh, this application, or your apps like this Google Pay, which were not existing at that time. You could do these transactions, or you could operate an ATM with right your biometrics. So all authentication be done either through your fingerprint, or through your eyes retina, or through your face detection. And I uh, built up a synopsis on that, and submitted that synopsis, something that we are now doing. Now all these Google Pays and every aspect of that financial transaction we can do. If you have a smartphone with you, then you can authenticate using a face recognition. Even the HDFC app on mobile, you can do financial transaction and authenticate them through either a face recognition, or a thumb recognition, or biometric recognition. So the essence is that any kind of research that you want to do, don't do that research just for the sake of earning some kind of a doctorate degree. I think you should find a social or a genuine societal problem and go through the intricacies of the problem and find out what are the probable solutions that the people are looking, and then you can go with that research and suggest innovative solutions. Then that research will degree is to solve some of these society's problems with the help of technology. And
Yes.
that would be my advice to the people who want to do some research. Hunt for a societal problem that you can solve with some innovation in technology, and not only it earns you a degree, it solves a genuine problem also.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
That is a really good advice, and I think all the students who will be viewing this video will be benefited with this. Sir, we have another question for you. As you have more than 22 years of experience in computer science department, what strengths do you think are the most important in a developer or most important characteristics?
Actually, if you want to become a successful developer, I have been into software industry as well in my initial years before I switched over to academics. So I think you should have good logic building skills. You should have decent programming skills. You should have the understanding of data structures and algorithms. You should have an understanding of how databases, both SQL based and non-SQL based, and basic understanding of networks and HTML. If you have this knowledge, this crux of 7-8 subjects that I have said, and of course with a knowledge of an operating system, and I prefer Linux for that matter. If you have this knowledge, not only you will get a good job or you will be successful at a good startup, but you will be a good developer, because things keep changing. When we started, it was Pascal. When we were in the engineering phase, it moved on to C++. Today the world is looking at Python and probably Julia and Kotlin. So these transitions will keep on happening with technology. But what I earlier mentioned were the basics. If you have those basics in place, nobody can prevent you from being a very successful developer.
That is right,
Yes.
sir.
Sir, since you have done M.Tech and PhD in computer science, so in this long journey, what are your favorite and least favorite technology products and why?
Actually, I'm a big Apple fan. I think that their products look good and they work very well. So I think I use the Apple MacBook Pro. So these Apple products, the Apple iPhone, they're fantastic products. And also, I am a big music fan. So I think the headphones by Sony and some of the speakers by Bose, they are my favorite technology products. And as far as the something I don't like, I think I'm not a great social media and WhatsApp fan. Although I use WhatsApp and social media like everybody has to use, but still, I think uh, I sometimes feel WhatsApp, rather than being a very innovative technology, is sometimes a botheration. And there are some technologies which you like half and you don't like half. For example, the Apple Watch. I like the Apple Watch. It's a fantastic device, but because it needs to be charged every day, I'm not bought it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, you have studied so much, you are already teaching students. So, tell us about some of the books that have influenced your thoughts and motivated you to grow in your field. It can be related to your field and general books also.
Actually, I read a lot. I read on Kindle. So apart from what academics book I have studied, there are few books like, for example, there is a book called "The World Is Flat" by Thomas Friedman. He tries to explain about uh, you know how technology is enabling those who are underprivileged in the society and making the world a more level playing field. And then there is a book called The Developer's Dilemma, which is by Clayton Christine. And there was also a book called Steve Jobs. It is about Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. So these are some of the books that, and I've read a lot of autobiographies. I think I read an autobiography, a lot of autobiographies of cricketers. For example, I read the autobiography of Saurav Ganguly and Sachin Tendulkar and Stephen Waugh. I mean, you learn a lot from how when things are going fine, so you're not bothered about anything. What you learn from these successful people, they may be from whichever strata of the society and whatever field, is how did they overcome when the chips were down, when they were uh, through a low phase in their lives. How did they, what did they do to come out of the low phase and come into a phase where they were successful? So these are the books that I read a lot actually. I think the Kindle app is a great app. You can read any book there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That's really impressive. Sir, you have been a part of numerous projects. We would like to know about the project that you think was the best work of yours.
I think I told you the project on how to operate, how to do financial transactions with the help of biometrics is something that I regard as some of the best work. And even for that, I got a certificate of best work from in the Indian Science Congress by the Honorable Minister for Science and Technology. I think he gave me an award on appreciation award on that on the Indian National Science Congress in I think 2016 or so.
Yes,
That
sir.
I'm continuing that because what I did was physiological biometrics, like operating, doing any kind of financial transaction using your eye, using your retina, using your thumb, using your fingerprints. But now there is something called uh, uh, behavioral biometrics in us.
Yes,
All
sir.
of behavioral biometrics, the way we walk, our voice is a behavioral biometrics. We all have unique voice, and I think each voice has more than 55 different features which can distinguish one's voice from another. So that is behavioral biometrics, and I'm working on a project now, which is behavioral biometrics, how to uniquely identify and authenticate a person using behavioral biometrics, and that can be used across platforms for communication.
Yes, sir.
So, what, according to you, is the reason that the most young developers and researchers want to work outside of India? I mean, there are a lot of talented people, but they, instead of staying inside the country and working for Indian companies, they prefer working for US based companies or China based companies. What do you think is the reason for that?
I think the primary reason is the opportunities available there, the milieu of the research. There is a great atmosphere of research in especially there is a great atmosphere of research in US. There is a great atmosphere of research in Europe, and there is encouragement. There is a lot of government and non-government funding available for research, and there is a lot of facilities available for research. In India, I think the opportunities are limited, and basically we do not have at the moment we do not have that atmosphere for research and the funding and facilities for research. Although I think the awareness on research and innovation has changed in India for the last decade or so, and where we were 1 decade ago and where we are today, I think it's a remarkable change. But I think
Yes.
it still is not what the West is at the moment, because I think every societal problem that we have and every societal problem that is going to come or is existent will be solved with research and innovation. For example, you can see the corona crisis has happened, and how we can come out of that crisis. The only way is research and find out a good vaccine or antidote to it and come out of it. That is how we came out of yellow fever and polio and ebola and whatever. So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
the atmosphere for research is non-existent. There there is a lack of atmosphere. Once the government support, the non-government support for research, because research is an output of a lot of failures. And in India, we do not encourage people to go do what they want to do and fail.
Yes,
Because
sir.
if you fail 5, 10, 15 times, you're going to succeed once. That is what research is. And one research leads to an innovative product that, that can even build a nation. For example, Steve Jobs did so much research and finally he came up with a innovative product called iPhone. And
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
iPhone brings more money to American economy than any other product that America builds. So, so I think it is a combination of opportunities, facilities, atmosphere, and funding. And if that improves, I think the talent has always been there.
Yes, sir. We think you are absolutely right. So, we are expanding an organization and would like to know your views about this and some suggestions about this.
About developers daily, sir.
I think I went through your website, and your website is a good initiative, and it gives information about products and different product categories, and different services, and different kinds of those uh, small patches that are available in different software, and even different hardware products you are catering to. And I think if you, my suggestion would be if you could build a community where people can come up and share a problem, you know, and invite people to find out solution to those problems. If you could provide some kind of a platform wherein people can put up a problem and the other people can start building onto a solution onto that problem, and some kind, which is some kind of a replica of a GitHub repository. I think it would be further add an inch of growth to your already flourishing, this initiative.
Thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate your views and we would try to implement your suggestion. So this concludes the interview, sir, and we are very thankful that you agreed to take out time from your busy schedule for this interview. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.